In his absence, we played a song to recognize him. We want to thank you, Madam Chairperson, Deputy Political Leader Menz and Mrs. Wolf, members of the ILP Executive, friends and family of the Sangre Grande community. You look so beautiful tonight. Usually, the first speaker is the youth speaker. So I am honored tonight to occupy that youth position, if only in heart. We are in troubling times. There is no question about that. And it seems like if you were a visitor here today in this country, you would have seen a record in terms of a warrant, an arrest, and procedure through the court. You would not believe you were in Trinidad and Tobago, would you? That doesn't happen here. That is a record, another record by Mrs. Prasad Bisesa. On Saturday, May 23rd, Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisesa sat down with the Express reporter, Anna Ramdas, for an exclusive interview that would be published on the 24th of May in the Sunday Express. The 24th of May being her 5th anniversary. So this interview was done exclusively with the Express for publishing on the 24th of May. The reporter asked, 5 years have flown by so quickly. That I disagree with. To me, it has taken too long. But the reporter, Mr. Ramdas, says 5 years has flown by so quickly. What would you say are your government's biggest achievement? The Prime Minister responded, the citizens of every community, every constituency have been placed as a priority and their lives have been improved in many ways. That's what the Prime Minister said before she got into the specifics. Listen to the specifics. There are unprecedented levels of improvement and delivery throughout Trinidad and Tobago in healthcare, in education and training, in job creation, in management of the economy, in the reducing of crime. I can't speak on all of those tonight, but I'm certain you in Sangre Grande, like us in Longdonville and Chaguanas, have not felt all these wonderful improvements of which the Prime Minister speaks. But the Prime Minister seemed to be able to deal swiftly with crime today. Let us examine her record. As the Prime Minister said to this country that there has been an unprecedented level in the improvement, the reducing of crime, as she boasted, as she was proud of her accomplishment. The interview, as I said, was published Sunday morning. By Sunday afternoon, the Prime Minister was addressing her supporters in Macoya. While she addressed her supporters, simultaneously as she addressed her supporters, the police was called to a scene, a murder scene, the murder scene of Emmanuel Pauline, who was shot dead. While the Prime Minister was speaking, Pauline's wife stated that he was washing my car on the road when shots rang out. He was washing my car on the road when shots rang out. Washing your car is a danger to you in this country. As if that was not bad enough. And this was published in yesterday's Express, page 7. As if that was not bad enough. As the Prime Minister continued to speak, the police was called out again, another community. As she continued to address them, the police was called to find the decomposing body of an unidentified man The man had a plastic bag over his head and gunshot wounds in his body. That is the kind of killing that the police met. Police inquiries, after they inquired, discovered, and I say to you again, this is in the Express of yesterday. You can check it out. As horrific as it is true. Police inquiries discovered residents heard several explosions. A group of men, one of whom was seen to have a shovel, was dragging the body of a man along the road. Keep in mind, this is a decomposing body that the police found. When they found it and they made the inquiries, this is the story that they got. Friends, residents of Sangre Grande, I ask you, is it that in Trinidad and Tobago, is it that we have grown so callous, so cold to murder that we don't bother to call the police when we see these things in our community again? Is it, Sangre Grande? Why would residents hear loud explosions? Why would they see a group of men, one of whom had a shovel, dragging a man on the street and not bother to call the police? Is it because we are so uncaring, cold-hearted, and selfish as a nation? I don't think so. Or is it that the residents are under siege? Is it that they are fearful for their lives? Is it that they disbelieve the ability of the police to protect them when they call and make themselves known that they are reporting a murder? Is it that they have no confidence in the leadership of this community of this country to get rid of the crime epidemic? I want to tell you, the Prime Minister who has broken record today, let me tell you of her record. The United Nations Offense UNODC, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. And this statistic can be found at www.unodc.org. In their 2014 report, Trinidad and Tobago Crime Stats, they say, this is an independent report. It's not the ILP's report, it's not the PNM's report, and it's not the UNC's report. This is the United Nations. 83.33. Now we'll go in with scoring out of 100. You're scoring out of 100. 83.33 believes crime increased in the past 3 years, according to the United Nations. Out of the 93 countries, Trinidad and Tobago polled 6th. Keep in mind that when you're closer to the top, you're worse off. We polled 6th in the world. We are as high as that. In crime levels, we polled 91.18. Out of 93 countries, in terms of crime level, we polled 5. A question was asked, do you feel safe walking alone at night? 8.82. 8.82 is the figure we got. Out of 93 countries polled, we were 89th. In this case, we were worse because out of 93, we were 89th when it comes to who feel safe walking at nights. Violent crime, gun crime, out of 170 countries, little Trinidad and Tobago polled 122, which means that in the world, there's only 48 countries worse than us. Only 48. This could be gotten www.undoc.com. And so according to the UNODC, our crime has worsened over the last 4 years. To confirm this without fear of contradiction, the Guardian newspaper of Sunday, January 22nd, 2014 states, and I quote, Trinidad and Tobago continues to rank in the top 10 for homicides per capita around the world. We are in the top 10. That is the record of Kamla Prasad Visesa. This is according to the source that I just quote, and I'm confirming it because the Guardian quotes the same source. In that same article, there's a criminologist, Rene Cummins. He said a major part of the crime problem is the illicit guns that find their way into the hands of criminally involved youth who seem fascinated with violence. He goes on to say, he urged the government to show the country it had the political courage to dismantle and disrupt the illicit gun market by focusing on acquiring information on the number of illegal firearms circulating in the country. Cummings said this would lead to information and a formulation desperately needed, focused prevention intervention to get guns off the street. But is the government listening? Are they listening? Here is a reputable criminologist giving sound advice to our government. But they don't listen. And so after 5 years, we can conclusively and factually say we are worse off today than we were before. The worst we've ever had in June 2010. She said that is when it will start to come down. Listen to this. People's Partnership was elected in 2010. Under their watch, because 2010 had 5 months of PNM and 7 months of the 6.5 months of the PP. In 2010, there was 247 murders in their watch. 2011, with the PP in power, full year, 354. 2012, 383 murders. 2013, 407. Does it sound like it's going down to you? These are the facts on the Trinidad and Tobago police website. In 2015, 4.5 months so far, we have 151 murders. Here's an interesting fact for you. These are facts. So for the 1,826 days that the PP has been in office, 1,826 days, there has been 1,945 murders. More murders per day. And that is the record of this PP government who wants to show us how fast they could deal with crime only today, only for certain people. That is their record. Does that record inspire confidence in you to give them 5 more years? No. Do you feel that in 5 more years, if they continue as they continue, we will see the murder rate decline? No. Would your community be safer? Would you be safer? Not at all. Not at all. And so, my brothers and sisters, the Prime Minister said in her midterm speech in St. Augustine, which was on May 13th, 2013, at a speech in St. Augustine, we welcome our chairman. At her midterm speech in St. Augustine, the Prime Minister said, "Sisters and brothers, crime remains our number one priority." No. If you have a number one priority, wouldn't you do everything you can to make sure you accomplish at least that one thing? Because that is your number one priority. But as the lip service that we are paid, that crime is her number one priority, and every year, as I've quoted for you, murders rise every single year. And so she's saying to all mothers and fathers, this is the Prime Minister, to all mothers and fathers who have lost loved ones, we assure you that we are working to get it right. No mother should have to go through that pain. Today, not only do family members have to go through that pain, but there's another pain. There's a long time, we used to say there's insult to injury. It's not like that. It's insult to death under this government. It is insult to death. The Trinidad Guardian, Tuesday, May 26, no pathologists to do autopsies. So upset relatives turned away. Listen, grieving relatives of at least 12 people killed. 12 people killed over the weekend. It's in the Trinidad Guardian, friends. I'm not making it up. Grieving relatives of at least 12 persons killed over the weekend were turned away from the Forensic Science Center, St. James, yesterday after being told no autopsy would be done until tomorrow, since none of the contracted pathologists were available. St. Rose Funeral Home Director Nicholas St. Rose said, such delays should never be happening in oil-rich Trinidad and Tobago. We need to treat the bereaved with more respect than that. And he makes a very important point. He says, what about the Muslims? What about the Muslims who want to bury today? They can't now. Spiritually, that is not right. The system is not right. It is embarrassing. It is no longer adding insult to injury. It is insult to death under this government. Worse, contacted about the delay, Justice Minister Prakash Ramadas said he was not sure what the reason behind the two-day delay was. The minister, as important an issue as this, he isn't sure. What a travesty. What a travesty to our Muslim families and brothers in this country. After 5 years of this People Partnership government, our country is precariously perched on the edge of an abyss of social and economic disaster. This government has received the highest revenue levels in any of the nation's history. Yet our citizens are worse off today than they were 5 years ago. Citizens continue to live in fear of being raped, being robbed, being murdered, as crime continues unabated in spite of this government's excessive spending. It's time, the only time in the last 5 years that we felt safer than we do today is when Mr. Jack Warner was the Minister of National Security. That's the only time. And it is time for men like him to come back and put their foot down and lead this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Take a walk in history with me. Let's remember India and the way the British victimized the Indians while under their rule. Let's remember South Africa, Nelson Mandela, apartheid. Africans were victimized for years, decades. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at America in the 50s, 40s, in the 60s, and even in the 70s, where Africans were victimized, oppressed, abused, beat down, beat up. All of these countries, all of these people, all of these races finally decided at one point that enough was enough and it was time to stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is our night to stand up. Greetings, political leader of the ILP, my mentor, Member of Parliament for Chaguanas West, Mr. Austin Jack Warner, Deputy Political Leaders, Dr. Lena Wolf, Mr. Sunil Ramjit Singh, Mr. Joseph Menz, Chairman of the ILP, Ms. Rika Ramjit, members of the executive, members of the head table, all ILP fans, all ILP family, supporters, residents of Sangre Grande, I say good night to you. When observing all that was taking place today, I called Dane Francois. I called Dane Francois and I said, Dane, find space for me to speak tonight. I have to speak tonight. And I'll tell you why. About 3 weeks ago, while at Cleaver Heights, to my surprise, when Mr. Warner was giving his speech, he said to the gathering at Cleaver Heights, each and every one of my speakers, they're doing a magnificent job. But if I have to give a gold medal to one speaker, that person will be Nigel Reyes. And so, humble as I was and still am, when seeing the father of the ILP being attacked today, I said to myself and I said to Dane, who better to defend him? Who better to defend the ILP? Who better to defend the country than the person you all have become to know as the fireman himself? I want to let the government know from the onslaught that this is not a victory. In fact, it's an effort in futility. If you all feel by temporarily silencing Mr. Warner, you have won the battle in some way, I want to tell you tonight that you are all wrong. When I was introduced to the executive, Mr. Warner sat with me. He sat with me and spoke privately, and he told me, Nigel, I am bringing a lot of young persons on board in the executive. And the main reason I'm doing that is because I plan to bow out of the political arena in 5 years. That's what he said. He said, I don't want to hold on and stay until my time comes. I want the young to lead the party. So if you feel, Madam Prime Minister, if you feel all those fanatics who support the People's Partnership government and who call all the radio stations today laughing as though some victory has been won, I want to tell you, think again, because when you touch one in the ILP, you touch all. And if you touch Mr. Warner, we have Rika Ramjet following. If you touch Rika Ramjet, we have Sunil. If you touch Sunil, we have Danon. If you touch Danon, we have Dane. And if you come after Dane, we have Indra. If you go after Indra, we have Mr. Menz. If you go after Mr. Menz, we have Dr. Wolf. If you go after Dr. Wolf, we have Mr. Burrell. If you go after Mr. Burrell, we have Janelle. If you go after Janelle, we have Dominic. If you go after Dominic, we have Steve. And if you go after Steve, we have coming up in the ranks young Richard Jagasa. So I'm telling you, don't touch the ILP. Don't touch the ILP. Listen, you got me started today, and you're lucky I begged for time, so I know I have to finish shortly. Well, it's all night. All night I'll be going at you. They're not mad, you know. But I'm controlling. I'm trying to temper. Bishop, good night. I'm angry, but I'm trying my best. This government, and I want you to know, they have realized that we, the ILP, are a threat to them. We are a definite threat. If you doubt me, ask why they came with that runoff bill. That was the sideline, the ILP. Come on. That has failed. Just like this is going to fail, ladies and gentlemen. So fear not, and wipe those sad faces, put smiles on those faces, because I'm sure wherever Mr. Warner is tonight, he's smiling because he knows that he has the young in the party to take over for him. Come on. Gandhi, and hear me well, Sangre Grande, Mahatma Gandhi was incarcerated. Martin Luther King was incarcerated. Nelson Mandela, thank you, Janelle. Nelson Mandela, he was incarcerated, and they all came out of incarceration and saw victory for their cause and their for political parties. Come on. And so too will Austin Jack Warner. You have my word on that. Madam Prime Minister, before I go, there's a war coming your way. There's a revolution coming your way, Madam Prime Minister. So take heed. Take heed. And before I disclose who these warriors are, I'm calling on every arm, Danon, and every wing and every leg of the ILP to unite tonight and fight for each other in a way that you've never fought for each other before. Our survival depends on this. Mr. Warner depends on this. Our children's future depends on our survival. Come on. This is war. It is war, Bishop. Thank you. Prime Minister, as I said before, there's a war coming your way. There's a revolution coming. And this revolution is going to be fought by the likes of Margaret Emanuel, who's been crying for good leadership in this country. She came from South tonight. She came from South to Sangre Grande to support the ILP. This war will be fought by the likes of Sarah Ramuta in Cuba, a URP worker who got fired because they felt that she was a supporter of the PNM. This war is going to be fought by the likes of Mr. Prasad. He was a contractor in Chaguanas West by-election. Up till now, Suraj Rambachan has not paid him. This war is going to be fought by those thousands and thousands of CPEP workers who are dragged to Monday night forums and every UNC meeting. They are coming for you, Madam Prime Minister. This war is going to be fought by the poor people in Sangre Grande who cannot see the MP and have to beg them to see Mr. Warner for them. Come on. This war is going to be fought by the families of the mothers and babies who are dying daily in our public institutions. Come on. This Fuad Khan, look out. This war is coming at you too. We are not going to give up. We are going to win this war. And Madam Prime Minister, this war will be fought in each and every constituency, in each and every polling station on election day. And our ammunition will be our voting finger. So fear not. So fear not, members of the ILP. Fear not, supporters of the ILP. Mr. Warner, being the brilliant mind that he is, has already put provisions in place for situations like this. So if you thought that some battle was won, think again. Mr. Attorney General, I want to deal with you, but our chairman cautioned me. So I'll let my chairman deal with you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
Good night to members of the head table, and good night to residents of Northeastern Settlement. I want to thank you very, very much for coming out tonight. I want to thank you for being here, not only to support Mr. Warner, but to support our young people like Janelle and Nigel. Ladies and gentlemen, in June of 1991, I got a vision. And in that vision, the Lord spoke to me and he said, all the heads are dead. I have shared this vision with you on several occasions. All the heads are dead. They only look green from afar. There must be rejuvenation for the upcoming generation. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the upcoming generation. For years, I've been troubled by that dream. And I searched, I looked for that ordained member of parliament, that ordained minister, that minister who God is going to call out to lead the troops. And I want to say tonight, that minister is Mr. Jack Warner. I want to say tonight that I have found that minister. When I came into the ILP, I looked around and I said, where are we going to get the people who are going to speak out for the young people who are in jail? Where are we going to get people who are going to talk about the people who are in hospitals, sitting for hours. Where are we going to get people to talk about what's happening in our community? And I found that in Nigel. I found that in Janelle. I found that in Danan. I found that in Dane. When I listen to 91.9 on mornings, and I want to encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, tune in to 91.9 FM. You will hear issues being dissected. The very article you read in the papers, you wouldn't think it's the same article after Dane and Danan have gone through it and divulged all the hidden and evil deeds that are done by this government. When the PP came into office, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa rode on the backs of poor people. She said when she got into government, she'll see about wages. She'll see about the children. She'll see about the young men in prison. And today she's asking for 5 more years to do it. What shamelessness. What atrocity against poor people. When Mr. Warner lifted her up on mornings, 3 o'clock in the morning, they're in caucus in San Fernando. These are the words of Mr. Warner. He is with her, talking, planning strategy, how to get her into office. And then she turned and called him a lagahu. That is the kind of prime minister that we have. I remember the last time I came into this community, I pleaded with members of this community, and I said, please, give us your support. We have a woman. She's going to take care of your needs. She will hear your cry. She would listen to all your complaints. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you, she never came to this community. Not even your representative, the one who you voted for. None of them came. But I can tell you, day or night, you call Mr. Warner, and he'll be here. We have an opportunity now to say to Mr. Warner, thank you. We have an opportunity now to show him that his energies were not wasted. We have an opportunity to now to say, Mr. Warner, we hear you. We understand what you're saying. Mr. Warner came and he told us everything and he repented. Time and time again, he repented. He said, I'm sorry for what I have done. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you. Do not give up faith. When David faced Goliath, God said, cool it. The battle is not yours. The battle is mine. I want to repeat that tonight. The battle is not the ILP battle. It's not Mr. Warner battle. It's God's battle. Because this country is falling apart. And if we do not get young people to stand up and hold the reins of power, we will fall and fade away into the pit of nothingness. It is as if we were never here. I want to thank Mr. Warner publicly. I want to say, Mr. Warner, I admire you. I want to say to Mr. Warner, have no fear. We would continue the battle. The battle is not over until it's over. I stand here tonight, a proud member of the Independent Liberal Party. Daniel was spied upon, and he was placed in a pit with lions. And the next morning, when they went, he was alive. How could it be? How could it be? But God. But for God. Mr. Warner, where he is tonight, I don't know where he is. I know many of you probably wondering and saying, well, the executive hiding secrets. We have no secrets, so whatever you know, we know. But wherever he is tonight, God is with him. God is with him. Tonight, when you go to bed, I want you to cast your thoughts on all that Mr. Warner shared with us. You think they're going away? They're still there. Pals getting millions of dollars. Friends getting contracts. All the evil and wickedness. And all you getting? You get a road. Yeah, they boasting about that. You're getting box drain. You're getting 500 for your baby. But when you look behind the scene, move the curtain. Move the curtain a little bit and watch behind the scene. And see all the evil, wicked snakes wriggling. Then you will tell me. Then you will know what Mr. Warner was talking about. We have, ladies, an opportunity to prove to him that we have something left in us. It's not all gone. We still have something left in us. I'm asking you to stir it up tonight. Put your knees on the ground and pray for Mr. Warner. Put your knees on the ground and pray for yourself. Pray for your children. Because a time is coming when you'll be asked. You will be asked to decide which side of the line you will stand on. Which side of the line you'll stand on, because that battle line has been drawn. No more sitting on the fence. No more. What time? It's time to decide if you're going or you're staying. It is time. I want to thank you sincerely for coming out tonight. I want to thank you for being brave enough to stand up and say, I am with you. I want to thank you tonight for all your continued support for Mr. Warner, all your continued support for the young generation, all your continued support for the Independent Liberal Party. I thank you.
Is that all you got, guys? Huh? Rudal Munilal's chuckling and smiling this morning. Is that all you got? Gavin Nicholas, joke of an attorney general. Is that all you got? Dr. Tim Gopi Singh and Chandra Sharma talking about law, who smacked down a 120-pound woman in a car park in Grand Bazaar. Is that all you got? Well, let me tell you something. You see this Green Army? You see this Green Brigade? We are more united and more together now more than ever. And if that is the plan, the plot, and the scheme that Kamala Prasad Bisesa has been talking about for all this time, it won't work. It won't work. Let me say this, Nigel, you forgot one thing. You called out all the individuals and you said, if you touch Danon, then you have Janelle to deal with. And if you touch Janelle, then you have Indra to deal with. And if you touch Indra, then you have Armanat to deal with. And if you touch Armanat, then you have Men's to deal with. And you listed everybody in almost chronological order. But you forgot one thing. If you touch Jack Warner, you have Trinidad and Tobago to deal with. Without a doubt. You see, I'm not worried at all because I took some time. Danon. And I was going through social media and Facebook, and everyone was inboxing me. Dane, I'm a PNM. But you see, Warner, I love that man. That man helped my family. Then I'm a UNC. I'm in tears today because you see that Jack Warner, that man helped me with a house. Then I'm an NJAC. It's in my phone inbox, everybody. Then something about Jack Warner. And you see what is happening tonight about Jack Warner? Trinidad and Tobago will not stand for it. There is law. Suddenly there is law in Trinidad. Suddenly there is law in Trinidad. Suddenly a commissioner of police can stand up and say, I listened to him well, that's why I'm late. Listen to him on news, Reka, talking about there will be no special treatment. If you're an MP, then you're arrested. Yes, then you're arrested. There's no special treatment. If you're a doctor, then you're arrested and there's no special treatment. But if you're Ish and Steve, there is special treatment. Yes, if you are Aman Ram Logan, there is special treatment. If you are Anil Roberts, there is special treatment. If you are Kamala Prasad Bisesa, there is special treatment. And if you're Chandra Sharma, there is special treatment. If you're Glenn Ramadas Singh, there is special treatment. But if you're Jack Warner, no special treatment. And that got me thinking. Danan. What is so unique about Warner? Yes, that they want to lick up. Yes, they want to break him, demoralize him, humiliate him. What is so special about Jack Warner? Then I realized it is Jack Warner and Jack Warner only who put you there, and it's Jack and Jack Warner only who will get you out. Sad. And about lunchtime, Rika, I got angry. Because I started to look at the politics of Trinidad and Tobago. I've always said that Jack Warner is not the only person with money in this country. There's a lot of people with money in this country, more than Jack Warner. They don't help you at all. Nothing. Politicians and businessmen alike. Nothing. But Jack, you want to humiliate and demoralize. Why Jack? Ish and Steve has money, and they're okay. Jack has money, but Jack is in trouble. Why Jack? Kamala Prasad Bisesa? What is different about Jack? Is it because he walked out on you and have decided to pick your ministers one by one and expose them for what they really are? I saw Tim Gopi sing with a grin on his face. The same grin when he was in Twin City. Same grin. Yeah. And I'm concerned, Trinidad and Tobago. Northeastern Settlement, I'm concerned. And tonight, we were to talk about, do representatives matter? That is what we were supposed to talk about, and then this morning happened. But I tell you something, guys. Tomorrow will also happen. And tomorrow, we will see Jack Warner even more brilliant, even more splendid, richer glow, more motivated. And he would encourage all of Northeastern Settlement and Trinidad and Tobago to do the right thing, which is when this election date is announced, to vote every single one of them out. Out. Yes. Soon, guys. Soon, Northeastern Settlement. Soon, guys. Soon. See, take some time and figure out where you are tonight. Understand the dynamics that has been playing in your community for years. We had a sports day up the road a couple months ago. And a few persons came to me and said, Dean, if only Jack Warner was a member of parliament for Toko Sangre Grande, would have been something else. This community would have been perfect. Then I went to Five Rivers, a seminar for men hosted by Janelle Sebastian, the gender affairs officer. And the same thing was echoed. Then we went Faizabad a couple nights ago. And the same thing, if only Jack Warner was the representative of this area, we would have been okay. But it is that same Jack Warner that they're trying to kill I don't have much time, but I want to tell you real soon, every little thing gonna be all right. Soon every mountain shall be exalted. Rather, every valley shall be exalted. Every mountain and hill shall be made low. Rough places shall be made plain, and the crooked places shall be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed. And all flesh shall see it together, because the ILP has spoken it.
Political leader of the Independent Liberal Party, Mr. Jack Warner. Pleasant good evening. All protocols observed. Pleasant good evening to everyone. And I could say good evening to Mr. Warner because I know that where he is, they'll be listening onto our program. They always listen. Our listenership is everywhere in O'Dane, in places people don't even know. But tonight, I want to first say, if this Prime Minister and her cabinet believes that this aberration, this little nuisance will affect us, that she's wrong. By the very action of today, the result has been that the likes on Jack Warner Facebook has gone up over 124% tonight. Yeah. And if she thought that was little bit, TV Warner viewership just doubled. You see, I want to tell you something. And I will tell you exactly what happened today. But before I do that, I got a WhatsApp from my grandson. And in it, CNC3 television says, the headline was, confirmed Jack Warner is currently in prison. People, I want to tell you, it have no wall high enough, no wall thick enough that could hold Jack Warner in any prison. In his mind and heart, he's a free man and will continue to be a free man. That what they did today speaks of their fear. And I want to tell you exactly what happened because I was there from this morning. And as a matter of fact, being independent, a member of the Independent Liberal Party, I came from headquarters, but I was prepared with my green shirt in my car. That's right. I took off my court clothes and I'm here tonight. This morning, the news broke. Okay? So we started getting calls about 5:30. But what was amazing, everybody here know how it takes 10 to 12 years to bring a man facing a charge to High Court. He had to stay in remand for 10 years. Everybody know, and I can tell you for a fact, that I often have to write the DPP to say, please file the man indictment. He in there 5 years and you have filed the man indictment. But today, the wheels of justice was no longer slow. It started to speed up like that. This morning, the Department of Justice met with them. You know, before 12 o'clock, AG with a grin on his face signed that application for extradition. Didn't ask a question. Didn't ask, do you have sufficient evidence? In no time at all, the AG signed the indictment, and the DPP, they take 3-4 years to sign an indictment in this country. But not only that, and disrespect to the max, did not call Mr. Warner. If you didn't know who his attorneys were, did not call Mr. Warner to tell him this is happening. A man who is a member of parliament, you did not call him to tell what. We heard it on the news. At just after 11 o'clock, we saw the AG smilingly saying, I have signed the application for the extradition. He signed the application for the extradition without, but that wasn't the thing, you know. Boy, policy action. In no time at all, a team of 5 attorneys were retained. 5 attorneys. By 12 o'clock, this AG had retained 5 attorneys. They all walked into court today before Mr. Warner was brought there. Not another, thank you very much, not a word as yet. But we got wind of it because, as Dane said, Trinidad and Tobago loves Mr. Warner, and they can't deal with that. We got wind of it, and we called, and we said, well, we hear this is happening. Could you please inform us? We were told that the warrant is there to be executed. Well, we had to make several calls to find out where it was, because we really not afraid of anything. Mr. Warner not afraid of that. He said, let's go and deal with it. So we didn't wait for them, Mr. Warner and his attorneys went and had the warrant executed. We came back. He was brought at about 3:27 to the magistrate's court. The matter was complete. Well, you see, this is where, if Mrs. Prasad Bisesa and her cabal thought that Mr. Warner was going to be there for very long, they have a next thing coming. Because what happened was he was granted bail. And I listened again to the news there. The news so want to vilify him, said we had to agree to a condition of surrendering his passport. There was no had to agree. We offered it. I was there, I can tell you. And I am as straight up as they come. I had it in an envelope. I passed it up and said, we have no problem with any conditions. They didn't have to ask us. We have no problem with any conditions. The bail was granted. But in this country, everything that shut down in the civil service at 4 o'clock. So when the matter finished at 4:22 p.m. this evening, there was no clerk to approve the bail. We had everything, no clerk to approve the bail. Therefore, there was nothing we could do. I say it was by design. I'll tell you why it was by design. Because since morning, you signed that extradition application. You sit down and you put together a team, and I'll call the name tonight. I'll call the name tonight because all you have to know who these people are. One of them still in prison gate and they can't finish that inquiry. Mr. Gerald Ramdeen. The next one, Mr. Jagdev Singh. Fees over $7 million. Right? He was the one who got away from by a Privy Council ruling. And he must be real, want Mr. Warner to be in there because he spent 7 years inside there. But that's not happening. Then they had Mrs. Pamela Elder. And then they had Mr. Mason from the AG's office. I want all you to remember Gerald Ramdeen. Man who still named Kakla in prison gate. Prison gate. $15 million in fees. I want to tell you something else. All of them come for a bail application that a first-year law student could do. I'm not lying. Richard, a first-year law student could do a bail application. You have to stand up and say, my lady, or your worship, this is a man of integrity. He's of good character. He has no reason to leave the country. He has ties to the community. He has no previous convictions. Therefore, I'm seeking bail. Under the Constitution, he's entitled to bail. She then turns and asks prosecution. That's me defense. Prosecution, Mrs. Elder. Do you have any objections to bail? No, I have no objections to bail. So they needed 5 lawyers to do that. For Miss Pamela Elder to stand up and say, no, I have no objection to bail. But there's money going on the drain. But I know that the Independent Liberal Party and Trinidad and Tobago will not allow that to happen. We made our efforts, but of course, nothing happens after 7 p.m. in Trinidad and Tobago. So I was saying why it was by design. The Department of Justice was here to have a meeting with the Central Authority before 9. So you had that information. You stand up before 11 this morning and say, I signed the application. Why didn't you? And signing the application for extradition means that you would have said, okay, go ahead and execute the provisional warrant. So why didn't all of this happen before lunchtime? Why did you not inform us? Everybody know where to find Jock Warner and where want to know. It did not happen. So the timing was such that the bail could not have been dealt with, and Mr. Warner has to be there for one night. But he spoke with us this evening. He was allowed to call us this evening whilst we were at headquarters, and he's doing fine. So we need not worry. He's probably taking a well-deserved rest day. He's going to sleep well tonight, he tells us, and he'll be with us from tomorrow. Now, I have to say, personally, that it is passing strange that just 2 days before the FIFA election that this happened. I have to say it's passing strange that just a couple months before our local or general election that this has happened. And I know that I understand that some people were popping champagne, etc. But he who laughs last laughs best. Yeah. And you have seen the power tonight. You have seen the power tonight. So we were prepared to talk to you about proper representation. We were prepared to talk to you about what your rights are, the mainstream, the typical people, what we need. We were prepared to talk to you about all that. But tonight we dedicate to letting you know that there is no way that this party is going to stumble. I had several calls from the media, all of them to, what is going to happen to the party? I said, what do you mean what is going to happen to the party? We have a meeting in Sangre Grande, come up and find out. Yeah. What do you mean? But Mr. Warner is not there this evening. I say, and if Mr. Warner not there, I there, Dane there, Dominic there, Nigel there, what is your problem? Well, you know, we want to know what your feelings are about it. My feelings are we win in the next election. And I say, no, there shall be no government formed in this land without the ILP. I say, well, he is very temporary, you know, extremely temporary. So we are not worried about that. And I want to remind you, Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to remind you, all of you here tonight, that in this country, as in every other country, including where the indictment was sealed, you are innocent until proven guilty. But unlike our Prime Minister, our Mr. Jack Warner, political leader of the Independent Liberal Party, will not attempt to clear himself. He is not going to do any investigation himself to clear himself. Yeah. He will rely on the normal course of justice. The Prime Minister had to do her own investigation to clear herself. Anand Ram Logan had to do his own investigation to clear himself. But Mr. Jack Warner will continue to lead this political party and will not waste his time and resources to attempt to clear himself, because that is for them to do. That is for them to do, and he has maintained his innocence and says there is no way. He's not worried about it because he's innocent of the charges. And do you know why he can say that to you? Because Mr. Warner has served the people of this country fearlessly and faithfully. Since 2010 and before, he has served this country fearlessly and faithfully. He has told me that he's proud of the service over the past 4 years since he has left FIFA. And he has said that he made that decision and left FIFA so he can let his bucket down in Trinidad and Tobago and work for the development and well-being of Trinidad and Tobago. He wants you to know that when he was at FIFA, he operated at all times consistently with international sporting practices. He has never engaged in any activity that is against the interests of the people of this country. He says that it cannot be a coincidence that on the eve of an election in this country, that this political maneuver can deprive him of the ability to serve this nation. I will say, as all of us have said, speaking to you tonight, that move will not succeed. It will never succeed. So the Independent Liberal Party will continue the work that it has started. It will continue to represent the mainstream people, the typical, everyday people of Trinidad and Tobago. We are not about representing the interests of the wealthy. We are not about representing the interests of certain segments of society. We are about representing Trinidad and Tobago, as we are here with you in the northeastern settlement in Sangre Grande. And I ask you tonight to hold your faith. More than that, there is nothing. This is, as I said, a mere aberration and a nuisance that will be dealt with in the fullness of time. I ask you to hold your faith as we go on and do what we are supposed to be doing, which is bringing the issues to you. And tomorrow morning, when you listen to Dane and they're on Sunshine Hour, they won't be dealing with this, will you, Dane? You'll be dealing with the issues. The issues that affect Trinidad and Tobago. When you listen to us on 95.5 on the Hour of Truth, we'll be dealing with the issues. When you listen to us on Saturday and Sunday on 91.9, Danan will be dealing with the issues. Dominic will be dealing with the issues. And when on a Wednesday you listen to 97.5, Sunil Ramjit Singh will be dealing with the issues. This party has a job to do. We are all committed to doing that job. And we feel very, very certain that we'll be going to battle with Mr. Warner at the head, because there is no evil that can deal with Mr. Warner. There's no evil that will bring him down. We are not prepared to allow that to happen. And Trinidad and Tobago, I say to you, if ever there was a time to be mobilized, it is now. If ever there was a time to put your faith in someone, it is now. If ever there was a time to stand up to a government and say no more, it is now. We will be continuing our meetings, and the next meeting will be tomorrow night in Chaguanas East. Mr. Warner will be there to address you. So come out in your numbers. And I can say for certain that he will have more news for you, more developments as far as this party is concerned and our political way forward. Because he's already said we fight in 41 seats. Rest assured that that is what we'll be doing. And I'm sure by tomorrow, he'll be telling you how you can avail yourself of certain things to allow you to come forward and represent this party. So tonight, I say to you, as Lena would say a word of prayer for Mr. Warner. Say a word of prayer for each of us. And most importantly, say a word of prayer for this country. Because without Mr. Warner, this country will finally go totally down the drain. I thank you.